as we're on this little vacation before my crazy summer begins, everyone's eating breakfast, so I thought I'd take an opportunity to actually just talk about my business life and experience, because part of what we do is consulting with businesses and helping them thrive in difficult times. We also consult with companies on different ways that they can implement artificial intelligence into their business to be more efficient. I mean, and this could be everything from setting up artificial intelligence phone answering people. This is not technical terms. I promise in a professional setting, we're a little more professional than, sitting in a camo shirt with a beard and checking out the ocean there. So we help them with everything. So it might be automated phone calls with artificial intelligence. It might be as simple as helping their employees learn how to use ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, different bots, different things that can just make their jobs better and better. So I thought I'd kind of just go back through who I am, what businesses we do, and why we do what we do. So I grew up in a little town in Idaho, and it's an awesome town. I still really love it. We live a little bit north of there now, but it was good. Anyways, we won't go too deep into all of that. So growing up, I always figured I would go to college, get a degree, contribute to my 401k, retire, live happily ever after. When I was 19, I went on a mission for my church, went to Mexico City, and I would say this is one of the most profound experiences of my life. Being able to leave the United States, go live in Mexico, and just serve for 2 years. It was absolutely incredible. Obviously able to learn Spanish that I can speak frequently now, which helps when we're in places like Mexico right now. And you got to find the best tacos somehow, and if you can talk to the locals and say, hey, where do we eat? And they're like, oh, eat over here where all the tourists eat. I'm like, no. Where do you eat? I want to know where you eat. We go there. That's the best food. But anyways, that very profound experience in my life. My brother actually wrote me several letters while I was on my mission, and they were very impactful in my life. And one thing that he had talked about was the principle of true faith. So I think when we think of faith, and this isn't a religious video. Like if you're atheist or something, you can still listen. It's all good. But there's some little nuggets in here, even if you are atheist. But he was, we have multiple followers from multiple locations all over the world. It's actually crazy. I was looking at our podcast list the other day. It's insane. There's people from like Africa, the UK, just all over the world. It was really cool. Anyways, he talks to me about faith. And he said that faith is not asking over and over and over for the same thing. If you're doing that, you probably don't have the faith that it's coming to you. You're actually just asking over and over and over. He said true faith is asking once and then living as if it has already happened. That was very profound to me. And as time has gone on, and I've read, at this point, probably hundreds of books on mindset and business, that's the key. So he was able to give me that key very early on. So really cool. So I come home, met my wife about a week after I got home off my mission. We ended up getting married about 7 months later, and it's been awesome ever since. But while we were dating, we started our first business. We were coaching gymnastics, and where we were at, there's just this big, open, empty wall. And was talking with the owner, who has become some of our best friends. There's names Justin and Courtney. Big open wall, and he's like, I'd love to put like a rock climbing wall on that. And I'm there like, well, I just went to college, and college freaking sucks. I hate that. I hated my business classes. I thought I was there just such a waste of time for myself. And he said, well, let's write up a contract. You can start a business and do that. So that's exactly what we did. And we ran that for about 12 years inside of a gymnastics center. We were only open at nights because they had gymnastics throughout the day, and when they closed, we opened. It was a big eye-opener. It was really cool to be able to start a business, figure out what the town needed, and provide a service. Just really, really cool. So then we continued all, doing that. We managed apartments because we were trying to save money, managed a couple different apartment complexes. Continued to go to school, but I did quit school pretty early on after I had a professor tell me that he was only a professor because his businesses had failed. So I was good after that. I'm like, hey, I think I can go learn this stuff on my own. We started a little gymnastics bus. So we took a school bus, converted it into a little gymnastics center, and we would drive it around to preschools, Montessori schools, neighborhoods, and we would teach preschool age gymnastics in that bus. And that was really cool. Very fun business model. That same people I was just talking to you about, Justin and Courtney. It was Justin's idea, but I was like, hey, I don't want to step on your toes. Are you okay if I do this? He said yes. That's actually the first business thing that I really want to talk about in this video is you don't have to have your own ideas. You can play off of the ideas of others, but I do think it's important to be moral and ethical about what you do. So, if he would have said, yeah, these gymnastics buses are really cool, I'm going to start one, and I'm like, oh, they're really cool, and he's going to start one, let me do it first. To me, that's not moral and ethical. Had a really good conversation with him. Hey, this is what we want to do. Is this something you're interested in, or is that just kind of an idea? No, Tyler, you have my blessing. Go and do it. Sounds great. That's very important to me in business. Even when we opened our rock climbing wall, we had top ropes, meaning someone is belaying you. Someone's at the bottom, you're climbing to the top, and you're on a rope. There was another bouldering gym in our same town, and I didn't want them to think that we were competing with them. And I didn't think we were because we're a top rope company. They are a bouldering company. And I went to them and I said, hey, would you guys like to do some type of joint pass? I don't want you to think that we're competing with you. You're open in the day, we're open at night. Like, they're very different. And they were pretty put off by it. They didn't like the idea at all. They're like, no, we're fine. We don't really want to be there. Then we kind of heard through the grapevine, people are like, yeah, they're really mad that you did that. And I don't like that. I like to be friends with people. I like to collaborate. Interestingly enough, a few years later, they approached us and said, hey, would you guys like to trade passes? We really want to come and top rope and lead climb, and maybe if you guys want to boulder. And we're like, heck yeah. Like, let's collaborate. We don't need to compete. Let's collaborate. So that was a really good first lesson for me. Even at this point, when we've started several businesses at this point, we've helped several people start businesses, we don't have the idea that we need to go and compete. Yes, there's competition out there, but what's much better? Collaboration. And what I mean by that is we have a paving and asphalt maintenance company, and I work very closely with a couple of them. And when I get busy, I hand them jobs. When they get busy, they hand me jobs. If a very complicated job comes around, I call one of them and say, hey, would you like to do this project together? That's what business is all about. We don't need to be competing with everybody all the time. So to kind of continue this on, so we ran the gymnastics bus for quite a while, and then we sold that. Throughout all this time, I ended up actually going back to college, and I became an EMT. I had a crazy day where we saw 2 wrecks and actually saw one guy hit a moose and pass away. I was like, I should probably learn some first aid type training. So I ended up becoming an EMT. Then I became a firefighter, then a paramedic, and worked part-time. Then I got on full-time, and then I became a captain at our fire department. And I have an interesting personality. If you followed me for very long, whether that's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I'm a little ADD, probably ADHD, probably ADHHHD. Like, it's pretty bad. But I don't see that as a crutch. I don't use that as an excuse. I actually believe that it's a blessing. So life is fun. That ADD type stuff can actually help you become highly successful. Trying to remember exactly where I was at. So yeah, firefighter, EMT, captain. So I was a captain at our fire department. Very grateful to have that opportunity. But what ended up happening to me is, so I was a paramedic, and we were a critical care service, meaning it's kind of the highest level of care in pre-medicine. So I became a critical care paramedic, a flight paramedic certification, and when I was that and a captain at the same time, my problem with kind of the ADD that I have is I was capped. I could have stuck around for 5 or 6 more years and possibly become like a battalion chief, and then maybe 5 or 6 years after that become like chief. But really, for working on the line, running fires, running ambulance calls, I was capped. I couldn't go anymore. There's probably some certification raises and stuff that I could have had, but I don't really care so much about the money. I care about progression. So we have a fitness gym. So we have an indoor rock climbing gym and a fitness gym that we put into the same gym about 4.5, 5 years ago. And I was doing box jumps. And in the middle of these box jumps, it hits me. I'm like, I'm going to go quit my job. So went there in my workout clothes, said, hey, Chief, I apologize. I'm in my workout clothes. Have something I need to talk to you about. Okay. I've decided it's important. I need to put in my 2 weeks notice. I need to be done. And he goes, okay, well, I do understand. But what are you doing? Like, why are you throwing away this opportunity? And I was kind of taken back a little bit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people quit all the time. And I like this individual, so I'm not talking bad on him, just maybe on the attitude that he had at the time. He was just like, this is the best opportunity anyone could ever have. You work 2 days on, and then you have 4 days off, and you have a pension, and you have security, you have benefits. Like, what are you doing? I was just like, that's what society says is important, but that's not necessarily what's important to me. What's important to me is adding value to as many lives as I can possibly add value to. And I know that sounds cliche, and I might sound like a fraud. I might sound like that guy that's like, oh, he's saying that he's trying to add value to people really well. He's just trying to make a buck. Well, I'm sorry, you just don't know me. So, am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I have things to work on? Absolutely. If you're a friend with me, you know my strengths, you know my weaknesses, because I'm pretty much an open book. But that rubbed me the wrong way. That not only rubbed me the wrong way, it lit a fire under me to go out and do as absolutely best as I possibly could in business. So, business venturing continuing, we continue to run the rock climbing gym and the CrossFit affiliate. I will be perfectly honest, I don't think we're going to keep our CrossFit affiliate much longer. The company really doesn't do much for us. They give us a name and they charge us $4,500 a year. The company's been dying since they ousted the founder, Greg Glassman. It got really woke, and I know that's a hard word for some people, but they just got to a point where fitness and health were not the important part. Making a dollar was the important part. It got sold out to a conglomerate, venture capital group, and they just don't care. They don't care about their affiliates. They don't care about their members, but we do. We've built a very, very strong community, and we'll probably be called something like Teton Strength and Fitness or something along those lines, and it's going to be big. So there's another lesson from my life that is good to learn. Pivot. If you need to pivot, pivot. When I was capped out, captain, firefighter, paramedic, flight paramedic certification, I was capped. What do? Do I just roll over and take it and just... No. You have to pivot. You have to pivot. You have to pivot so that you can progress. Progression is everything. So it's the exact same with this whole CrossFit thing. So it's all good. Probably be Rexburg Strength and Fitness or Rexburg Fitness and Strength. And we have such an awesome community. Truthfully, we will build it into one of the largest gyms in Rexburg because we have incredible coaches. So here we go. There's lesson number 3 in the video. Surround yourself with incredible people. I believe that our coaches at this point are better coaches than me. Now, I'm not a horn tutor, but from what I've heard, I'm a pretty good coach in the different aspects that I coach. People, when I used to coach fitness, they were excited to come to my classes. They would ask what time. And sorry, I'm not saying this stuff to tout or gloat or whatever, because really I'm not. Because what I'm saying right now is I'm not that good of a coach. We have trained our coaches, and our coaches have enough experience that they are incredible. So you can apply this to any business that you are doing, or any business that you're in, or even if you're an employee at a business. People used to ask me, hey, I want to go to CrossFit, but what class should I go to? What coach should I go to? And I'll be honest, in the past I was like, okay, go to 7 a.m. or go to 9 a.m. or go to 5:30 p.m. Because I had in my mind, like, go to these great coaches. I can truly tell you right now, if someone says, hey, what class should I go to? Who's the best coach? I would say, and I do say, well, we have a 5 a.m. class, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 4:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m. They're like, oh, well, which coach should I go to? Those are all the class times. It doesn't matter what coach you go to. You're going to have a phenomenal experience. Surround yourself with very high level, good people. When it comes to employees, when someone comes to us and says, hey, I'm here for the marketing position, and I have a degree in marketing, and I have a certificate in this type of coding, and I have this experience here and there. I'm like, oh, wait, experience? Tell me more. But I'll be honest, if someone comes to me and says, I have a bachelor's in this, I have a master's in this, I have a doctorate in this, cool? Like, good for you for sticking to it for so long. That is not why I hire you. I want to know your experience. I want to know what you bring to the table. I want to know how you can make my business not just the money to pay for yourself, but to grow the business. And if you know me, if you're one of my friends or you've followed me for very long, you know that as soon as the business starts making more money, our employees will start making more money. I have multiple streams of income. I have money coming from multiple different places, so I am not worried about making a buck off of my employees. Our employees are the number one in our business. If a member's listening to this or a customer's listening to this, they might be like kind of pissed at what I'm about to say. But if a customer comes to me with a complaint about an employee, and I go to that employee and they explain themselves, I will defend the employee 100 times over before I defend the member. Why? Because our employees are the backbone of everything. And when we hire somebody, I think of that employee as kind of one of my kids, and I want to see them succeed. If they want to continue to work, I will try to make them as much money as we possibly can. Together, we've got to build up that business. But if they want to go off and start their own business, guess what? I will be the first to offer business coaching to them. I would do it in a heartbeat. I want to see our people succeed. Life is about learning. It's about growth. And I want to help if I can. So it's very important. So that would be number 3. Surround yourself with absolutely incredible people. So then it had been a while before I'd started a business. I kind of wanted to know, like, hey, I've done this several times before. Can I do it again? So a little while ago, I got looking online and decided I would try a seal coat business. So back to manual labor, back to working my butt off. So we would seal coat, which means putting a protective layer over top of asphalt, filling the cracks, filling potholes, that sort of thing. So I got going, got doing all the steps. People are like, how do you start a business? Like, do I need an LLC? Do I need insurance? That's the easy stuff. That's the stuff that I can give you a list and you can knock that out. The hard stuff comes in the mind. The hard stuff is the stuff that you can't see on the surface. So it was really cool. Just wanted to make sure I could do it for myself still while we're coaching people and while we're consulting with businesses on artificial intelligence and startup and relationships. It's like, can I do it? So it's really cool. We got started, got a little tiny loan, nothing crazy. The loan was way smaller than on our first rock climbing gym. So really fun to do. Last summer, we crushed it. Just absolutely crushed it. Started off by myself, and by the end of the year, we had 2 full-time employees and then tons and tons of part-time. And it was awesome because we had everything. We had college professors, we had CFOs of companies, we had a guy that was retired, my dad, shout out, he helps with everything. We had just the coolest crews working. We started paving. So little testament to everybody else. Like, yes, I've done this several times. Like, I have no hesitation to start a business, especially a service-based type business. I know how to start it, I know how to run it, I know how to make it successful, but I just wanted to know for myself, just, can I still do it? And yes, I can still do it. And that is also what makes me so happy and excited for the consulting that we've been able to be a part of. I say we because it's really my wife and I are involved in everything, but really the consulting part is kind of my thing. She's there with kids and other businesses and everything. The consulting's awesome. I have these systems that we've built throughout time that you can implement into any business, honestly into any relationship, and you can see instant growth. You can see instant returns. And when we're pairing this with artificial intelligence, I mean, at this point, AI assists me to plan my day. It helps me with different scripts in marketing campaigns. It helps me with the marketing campaigns themselves. It helps me run data analytics on all of our companies. It helps me with my personal health. It helps me with nutrition plans. It helps me. It's insane. The list could go on and on. I mean, that's why I started the podcast Atlas Unplugged Conversations with AI. It's insane. We've got 20 episodes out right now where AI is just teaching me everything from what consciousness is to the idea of the singularity, which is when AI becomes more powerful than humans. And we talk about warfare. We talk about the Federal Reserve. We talk about going away from the gold standard in 1971. We talk about finance, stocks, bonds, treasuries, politics. Like, it's absolutely insane. So if you're interested in anything that I do, if you live in Southeast Idaho, we've got a rock climbing gym that you're welcome to come climb at. We have a fitness gym that you're welcome to come be a part of our awesome community. If you're needing a place to live in Rigby, Idaho, we've got a place that you can live and rent in Rigby, Idaho. If you own a business and you want to have a system that will allow you to step back from being the manager and the technician, we have systems in place to make that happen. If you're already running a successful business and you want to use artificial intelligence to amplify your awesomeness, we can help you there too. We help create bots for companies. We train each individual employee on how AI can be best used in not just in their lives. It is actually important. Like, so we've had companies that they come in, they're like, okay, help our company. And when I assess it, I go, I need to help each individual person to have their life more organized through AI. And they're like, but we're paying you to help our company. And I'm like, I promise you, when these individuals start using AI in their personal life, your company will skyrocket. And guess what happens? Their company skyrockets. Now, once they're used to it in their personal life, we can then easily implement it into their business. But it's kind of crazy. I'm still working on it. I just barely started this, so the kinks aren't all worked out. But if you call Summit Seal and Stripes phone number and I don't answer, I pop up and I say, hey, sorry I missed your call. Don't hang up. If you continue to talk, you're going to be talking with our AI bot, and he can answer most of the questions that you have. If he can't, he's going to leave me a message. He's going to let me know, and I'll call you back. Then you can have a conversation with my voicemail in AI, and you can get most of your answers answered, at least for the seal coat and paving business. And what happens at that point? Well, if they can't answer it, then I call you back. So thanks for listening to this super long video. I wanted to just give everyone a little overview of me, of my life. It's just a good time because we are, like I said, we're in Mexico. As I completely drop it, we're in Mexico. The tide is out. We've got Heber here. He's brought a 3D printer to Mexico so he can mess around with that. Well, we're upside down. Guys, I'm not a YouTube guy. I'm just normal here, but thank you for watching. I don't normally say this, but like and subscribe. Atlas Unplugged is on this channel. It's very eye-opening, and as time goes on, you're going to see a lot more than just Atlas Unplugged. You're going to see more of what we do in the consulting side of our lives. I would love to help you if it's the right fit, so please reach out. I'm actually pretty dang open. I don't know what like the rules are on YouTube, but if you call 208-681-6757, that's a way that you can get a hold of me personally. With our consulting business, I don't ever want it to get to a point where you have to go through 5 people to get to me. I will say no if we're too busy. I just will. I'll still have a conversation with you, but if we're too busy, I will say no, and you'll be put on a waiting list. But thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, because that's what you're supposed to say in a YouTube video. And have an absolutely wonderful day.